On April 3rd, we call to order the Mandan Public School Board meeting. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Do you have any changes to the agenda?
I do, under letter B, under new business, I would like to add Kim Doctor, 50% resignation. She's resigning half her contract.
All right, we'll talk about that when we get there. Any other changes? If not, can I get a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion from Ms. Cosette. We have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Haugen. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Sobel, please call roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Haugen,
Yes.
Net,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes, and I'll turn my mic on so everybody can hear me now. Hey, usually when I'm in a legislative committee, I gotta tell other people to do that. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to address the board? Seeing nobody, we will move on to the administrator's report. The first item on the administrator's report is the Starian Bank.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce Lee Weisbeck. He's the market president for Starian, and earlier today we announced that they gave a $900,000 partnership agreement with us to name the gym in our new high school, and we're really excited about that. And I just like to introduce Lee and give him a few minutes to talk about that.
Oh, welcome, Mr. Weisbeck.
Thank you, Dr. Bitts. I sure appreciate you having us today. I'll keep this real short and sweet, but today we had a big announcement, Starian Bank Gymnasium. So Starian Bank is proud to be part of this this gymnasium and the new high school. I think there was a need in the community. Construction costs, everything's up, and Starian wanted to step up to the plate. We've been in this community for 34 years, and it's fun to work for an organization that loves to give back to the community, and Starian's there to do that. And second of all, I just want to thank all of you, school board members, Dr. Bitts, Ryan as well. Just thank you for working with us, and I appreciate the partnership. It means so much to us. Our founder, Frank Larson, he always believed in giving back to the community that's given us so much, and the Mandan community has been so good to us over the last 34 years, and we just want to give back any way we can. So with that, these renderings look awesome. I'll open up if you have any questions or comments.
All right, any questions? Any comments? If not, I'd just like to say thank you again very much. We really appreciate the donation. It makes a big difference in what we could do in the school to get what this city really needs. So thank you very much for all the things you have done for the high school and, for the rest of the community with the Starian Sports Complex both. So thank you. I mean, it's greatly appreciated by everybody. So on behalf of the board, I just can't say it enough. I think we just got to say thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we're hoping at the end of the day this will serve thousands and thousands of kids over the next 50 years plus. So we're proud to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is the legislative update. Dr. Bitts?
Yeah, I have a handout in front of you. I just have 5 bills that I chose to talk about. If you have any questions, let us know. Let me know. Senate Bill 2284 is the big funding bill. We're kind of in that fun time of session where the House committee, I think, considered 13 different amendments. Anything that didn't get added on right away gets added on as an amendment, and the form it's in right now is going to change once it's approved by the House. It'll be a different form than passed by the Senate. It'll go to conference committee, and who knows how it's going to change as we go there. But as it is right now, it increases the per pupil payment by 3.5% the first year, 3% the second year. There's some really nice things in there with low interest loans that I think could help us out with some construction costs. They did add back in free lunches for anybody that's 200% of the federal poverty level, which is about $60,000 for a family of 4. So those are all good things. How that actually turns out, we'll just have to stay tuned and see how it shakes out after conference committee. The next bill, 1019, that is also it's the basically career and technical education funding bill. They included funding for new and expanding programs, which is very important to us as we open up our new CTE center at the high school. They also included inflationary adjustments for construction costs related to the building of those centers. We have to show that, and we can get up to 20%, not for our whole building, but for the CTE center of our building. So, again, we'll see how that shakes out, and we're hoping that money holds. I know that they're a little over budget right now, so we'll see how that shakes out as well. The next one, I wrote the wrong number down. I have 1185. It should actually be 1158. This was the income tax relief bill. When the Senate got a hold of it, they changed that to include the property tax relief. So it's kind of a hybrid now of both income tax relief, property tax relief. Again, this is headed to conference committee with the House. I'm not sure how it's going to shake out. Right now, it takes about 20 mills off our required levy. We have to levy 60 mills in the general fund. This lowers it to 40. I'm not sure where that'll end up. House Bill 1532 is the school voucher bill. It gives out $24 million to private school parents to help them send their kids to private schools. We're not actually opposed to that. I think the parts of it that are probably a little concerning to us is there's no accountability for it. It mentions an audit in there, but the audit is for DPI dispersing the funds, not holding the private schools accountable for the dollars that they receive. There is some talk about some amendments that would cap that at 200% of the poverty rate or even 300% of the poverty rate. But again, we'll see how that all shakes out when we get to conference committee, and it still hasn't reached the floor of the Senate. So, and then finally, Senate Bill 2260 is a parents' bill of rights. We're all for parents' rights. It's kind of it's just there's some pieces of this that are a little problematic, like permission slips anytime there's a speaker, permission slips anytime you talk about certain topics. It's really hard sometimes to get parents to complete those slips and get them in. It's not that we will have a conversation with a parent anytime about what we're teaching, when we're teaching it. To the best of my knowledge, we've never said no when a parent asks for something. We try to accommodate them with our curriculum requests. If they don't want to read a novel, we'll assign a different novel. We always want to work with parents. It's just there's some things in this bill that are just real problematic to implement. But we'll see how that shakes out. It's passed the Senate. It's in the House right now. And if you have any questions on any of these bills, I can try to answer them.
Just for the committee's knowledge, I talked to a gentleman on Probst. They're about $1 billion over on the general fund side of things, so there's going to be some major cuts coming between now and the end of the session. So, not saying where any of this stuff comes out.
Right.
They've got some holes they got to fill in until they're done at the end of the session. So,
Chairman Sheldon,
Yep,
Dr.
go
Ritz, I
ahead.
did have one question on 2260. Is that going to require any additional staffing? Is there going to be a cost to us to?
I'm not sure that's 2260.
Oh.
There is another bill. I think I can't remember what it's called. Where basically in our library we have to go through, and it gives us a year to come up with a plan to pull any book with objectionable content. That would take some time for us to go through. You know, our librarians, our paraprofessionals to go through all those books. We do have a process. We had a book challenged in our middle school library this year, and there is a process. If somebody notices a book that we don't notice, we try to address that and to go through that. But we have thousands and thousands of books in our library. I hope they're all appropriate, but we all have different views of what's appropriate, and to go through and sort through that certainly would take some time.
I guess I was thinking about even with the 2260 and permission slips and the coordination of those things and the administration of additional levels of bureaucracy that this will require when we already have processes in place to address parents' concerns or questions about any curriculum or anything we do.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
wondering if you're worried about workload.
Yeah, I am worried about workload. I mean, it's just another thing for our teachers to track and be aware of and try to stay on top of. I watched the hearing on in the House of 2260, and one of our recent graduates, Representative Hawley, I thought did a really nice job. He kind of talked about how he's not very far removed from high school, and his parents were able to go into Canvas and look at his assignments, look at what was required of him, and they could see that all the time. Not every school has that, but I thought Representative Holly represented himself and Mandan High School very well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I think just legislators need to understand anytime they add another requirement on is less time we can spend teaching students. And, they got to take a look at that sooner or later and say, where does it stop? So
Absolutely.
I think you just need to keep that in the back of their minds as they go through some of this stuff. All right, school photography services. Dr.
Correct.
Pitts?
And you don't need to approve this because it's really not a fiscal note for you. But we did, our photographer, longtime photographer is not in business anymore. So we invited people to come in and bid their services. I think Mrs. Peel was part of that process. I think it was a 7 or 8 member committee, and we had interested parties submit an RFP. And Mrs. Peel, I don't know if you probably know more about this than I do. You were on the. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drop.
No, that's okay. I was sick the day they did it, so I submitted my input digitally, but I know that there was a scale and everyone scored the different elements in different areas in determining what the best factor was. And I know that some of the things that were important to me, and because I wasn't part of the discussion, I can't represent everyone, was that we had options for digital options and a little more ease of service the way we have with like school bucks and our activities and that kind of thing. And I think the process got us more aligned in how we're handling activities and everything else, which felt like progress.
And I think we wanted basically it to be easy for our parents and to be easy on our school staff. And I think they wanted more affordable packages. So I think that, anyway, Jostens was awarded that contract.
Any questions on that? Dr. Bitts or Ms. Peel? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Next item, agreement with United Tribes Technical College for credit recovery.
Correct, and you have that contract in your packet. We've been working with United Tribes. They got a Monarch grant, and it's to help us educate our Native American students. Well, they made available to us up to 1 staff member to help with credit recovery. They will pay salaries and benefits up to $90,000. Native American students get priority, but they will serve any student who has a need within that. It doesn't cost us anything. I think it's just a win-win for all of our students. So Dr. Rederath sitting beside me worked that out with them, and doesn't need your approval. It's no cost to us, but just so you understand one of our partnerships.
Thank you for working on that. Appreciate it. Any questions or comments on that piece? All right, I'm assuming this is all high school stuff for credit recovery, right?
Yep.
All right, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. The first item on the consent agenda is review and approve previous board minutes from March 20th, 2023. Accept Health Insurance Committee meeting minutes from March 23rd, 2023. What are the wishes of the board?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Peters. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second for Mr. Horn. Ms. Silva, please call roll.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Moving on to unfinished business, we have no unfinished business, so we'll move right on to new business. Review and consider approval of playground award for Lakewood Elementary. Mr. Legacy.
Yeah, included in your packet is our RFP and 2 proposals from Dakota Playground and Grandal Recreation. This is a little different than the photography RFP you just saw, as this one does require fiscal action for you tonight. The reason we do an RFP instead of a bid on a project like this is that the playground providers have each very unique equipment, so it makes it very, very difficult to bid. So as part of the RFP, we give them a budget. For Lakewood, it was $250,000, and they give us a proposal for the amount of equipment. We do have safety specs and whatnot that we put into that RFP. Both Grandal and Dakota Playground met all the technical specifications. They're both highly qualified, but the committee, which included myself, Dr. Fosnot, Ms. Huvestal from the board, Mr. Kopp, our facilities manager, and Mr. Beckman, the new playground, felt that the play design and the play elements of Dakota Playground would fit the school better. So I would recommend approval of the Dakota Playground RFP.
All right. And just for awareness, that bid is a little bit more, but based on what you're getting and what is better, we've selected that one because
Yes,
of
and
the
that's why
services.
yes, and that's why it's an RFP instead of a bid.
Right.
That we've had issues in the past where we've done a bid and we get undercut by a slight amount without getting comparable equipment, and that's why we do it this way.
And actually, the RFP included qualification, design, and technical as part of the three pieces that went along with it.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, just so everybody's aware of that. I just want to make sure we're on board with that. Any questions for Mr. Legacy?
I have a question. The Dakota Playground listed, pick any of the three options or work with Jason. So there could still be some design things, or is what you showed in the packet what's going?
Yeah, it's option 2 is the one that we chose. The prices didn't change, but he had a few different play elements that we could have put into the project and a few things, a couple of slides different and that sort of thing, but really doesn't change the scope. So. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Any other questions? What are the wishes of the board?
I move to approve the playground award to Dakota Playground.
Second that.
We have a motion by Ms. Gazette and a second by Mr. Peters. We have any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Ova, please call roll.
Oh, yes.
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 Yes, that motion passes. We'll move on to review and consider approval of the following letters of resignation. Eugene Anderson, math at Mandan Middle School. Teresa Jennings, Spanish at Mandan High School, Mandan Middle School. Allison Langenfelder, special ed at Mandan Middle School. Laura Novak, English at Mandan High School. And Kim Doctor, 50% of contract, which is the one we added on the end there. All right, Dr. Bitts.
Correct. It would be our recommendation that you accept these letters of resignation and thank these individuals for their service to Mandan Public Schools.
All right,
I do have one question.
go ahead.
What's the pool for language teachers? I always worry about us losing another language.
We've been good this year. We've
Okay.
been very, very pleased. Our
Okay,
pools
good.
have been good. We're getting late, but right now up until this point, we've been very good. Even our elementary people, they've said the pools have been great.
Okay, that's great.
Special ed is probably
Still the hardest.
the smallest pools right now. Definitely the smallest pools.
Okay, thank you.
All right, what are the wishes of the board?
I'd move to accept the resignations and thank these individuals for their teaching. Teaching's a calling, and we are so grateful to those who answer to it and serve our children. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second? We have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Ova, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes, and I'd like to reiterate thank you to all these 5 individuals for all the service that they have done and the life-changing things that they've done for all the students, so thank you very much. Moving on, review and consider approval of the following administrative contracts. Ryan Langang, principal at Fort Lincoln Elementary. Amanda Tomlinson, principal at Mandan Middle School. Mike Gilbertson, assistant principal 1 at Mandan Middle School. And Carly Rederath, assistant superintendent at Mandan Public Schools. Dr. Bitts?
Correct. We had interviewed teams. All of these are our current employees that are being reassigned or to other positions. It would be our recommendation that you approve all these contracts.
All right, any questions or comments, or what are the wishes?
I'd make a motion to approve the administrative contracts.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussions? If not, Ms. Ova, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes, and I welcome all these individuals to different roles. Great to see them moving along into different positions, so thank you. Next item on the agenda, review and consider approval of the following teaching contracts. Shannon Kopis, elementary PE. Bailey Garman, elementary ED. Kayla Colden, elementary ED. Jen Larson, elementary ED. Madeline Mortensen, elementary music. Madeline Schumacher, elementary ed. And Catherine Tequila I probably got that one wrong. Elementary special ed, Dr. Betts, and if I got any of those names wrong, please correct them for me.
I think you're right. No, these are some of the last hires that will go with Lakewood Elementary. Our staff, we had planned to inform our teachers who are going to be at Lakewood and going to different buildings this week where they were going. We had talked about Wednesday and Thursday. I'm not sure what Wednesday and Thursday look like weather-wise. So we shifted on the fly, and our principals met with teachers, told them where they were going to be today. We wanted to get that out as soon as we could. So I'm not actually sure where all these people are, but they're all part of the puzzle that we put together.
And it's been a big puzzle. Thank you. All right. Any questions or comments? If not, what are the wishes of the board on the new hires?
I move to approve the teaching contracts for any and all of these elementary positions, regardless of which school they actually end up at. We welcome them to our district.
Here, I thought you were going to say all the names. Do we have a
You
second?
want me to? I could
No.
try.
Second that.
Can we have a second? Any further discussions? Not Ms. Oval, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and we'd like to welcome these new individuals to Mandan Public Schools and our family. Thank you very much, and we hope you have a long, prosperous career here. So welcome aboard. Moving on, review and consider approval of open enrollment agreement seeking a deadline waiver. Dr. Bitts?
Excuse me, I have my mic off. Yeah, in front of you, in your packet, you have 5 open enrollment applications from a family that moved out of our district that would like to continue their education in Mandan. It would be our recommendation that you approve them.
All right. Any questions for Dr. Bitts? Seeing none, what are the wishes of the board?
I'd move to accept the open enrollment.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second? We have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Oval, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Moving on here, I just want to say thank you to the board members who have stepped up and helped with some of the hiring processes and some of the evaluations. Thank you all very much for doing that. And I'd also like to reiterate one more time the Starian Sports Complex. Thank you very much, our Starian Bank, for the donation for the Starian Gym. So thank you very much to those guys. Moving on, future meeting date, April 17th, regular school board meeting, 5:30 City Hall. April 27th, Health Insurance Committee again, 4 p.m., Brave Center Boardroom. May 3rd, regular school board, 5:30 City Hall. Anybody have any other meetings that should come before the committee? Seeing none, meeting's adjourned.